Hello, welcome to Podfather. Today it's about middle of August. We're a week away from corn harvest, roughly a week away, and we've gotten the new latest version of our farm management software at our granary. So we'll have a lot of corn coming in and out here, probably in excess of 600,000 bushels. So I've had this software a long time, but this is the first time we've had it updated in a while. So and better record keeping, and looking forward to working with it this year. I really am. Now we've got everything tied together. Of course, the weights are automatic. The moisture meter and test weights will all be pulled in without any additional work, and then print out tickets, and really nothing to it. Our corn should be in excess of 600,000 bushels. Total storage capacity is right at 1 million bushels, like 950,000. So it's really a full-time job. Somebody needs to sit here and keep up with our inventory, because that's what we get paid on. You know, it'll start about the third week of August, which will be next week, and go through March or April for sure. And we had just cleaned out our last corn, our 2021 corn. We just moved the last truckloads of that within the last month. So we're pretty much year-round receiving and shipping out grain. Corn, soybeans, rice. I had some wheat out here for a few days. So this has been one of the toughest years I can remember in a long time. We started out extremely wet. I would say end of March through 10th of May, we probably had 20 inches of rain nonstop. I know we had 2 7-inch rain events, so there's 14 inches right there. So then throw in a half to an inch every other day, it adds up quickly. So real wet, and when it stopped, the last true rainfall we had up until recently was June the 5th. It's about 1.5 inches, and when it stopped, it never rained again for almost 10 weeks, 9.5 weeks. And it was 100+ degrees.
So I need to stimulate a response.
I think it's gonna work.
And everybody's always wants to point the finger everywhere else, but it normally starts with you.
Here we go.
This is a pretty special place to me.
It's not unusual for us to get hot and go over 100 degrees. I mean, there's been years we don't even break 100, but this year to break it in June and stay 100 to 105 day after day after day really wears on you. And no rain, and a strong wind. It just depleted all the moisture. Of course, we are irrigated, so that just makes for incredibly long days trying to keep this stuff from dying, truly from dying. And our irrigation is supplemental. I mean, we get 55 inches of rain a year on average. We may get it all in 1 month, but that's what we usually get. So anything we get irrigation-wise is supplemental. For example, on our corn, I have a good number on that. Usually we make 12 circles, putting out 3/4 of an inch. So that's 8 inches applied, and we'd get another 16 or so from above. And we just didn't get it this year. So we put out probably 14, 15 inches through irrigation system, so that's supplemental. And they just get stuck and have all kinds of issues after about, in my opinion, after about 12 to 14 circles, all bets are off. They've done all they can do for the year. We can get them to go a little bit more, but it's been a tough year. Now today's the middle of August, so about the 1st of August, we did manage to get some scattered rains. And then last week, around the 10th of August, we did get kind of widespread rain of 1.5 inches. It didn't last long. You really couldn't even tell that it rained, but we're forecast tomorrow through the rest of this week to maybe get up to another 2 inches. And then, hadn't seen any amounts yet, but all next week it's supposed to rain. So if it rains a few days this week and several days next week, we'll be in pretty good shape for moisture for hopefully the rest of the season. One more rain will finish out the early soybeans and take the later planted soybeans a long way. Now they'll need another one. So anyway, yeah, they updated the software today. I've been out of town. I came by just to see what it looks like, and there are some visual differences. I hope it's more user-friendly. And I know it will be more streamlined. So we put out a lot of second shot fungicide, some of that R5. We already had full season protection with the Revitec, but on some select fields, we came back with an R5 fungicide for additional protection and plant health. So that's why we like the results we get with the Revitec. We get the curative, we got the preventative, plus we get the plant health benefits. So we're excited about that.
With the soybeans with Terramax, we brought it out and instantly, man, I just couldn't believe the nodulation we had so early. Look at that. That root, look how much nodulation is already on there. And you have these little peanuts all the way down here that deep in the soil, around the roots here. That's a very good start. If you haven't heard of them, you better get to know them because their products are here to play. We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. When we went to these, we took an automatic increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour, which is incredible. Sometimes we don't have enough truck to keep up with what this combine can harvest. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none.
These are 4-3 beans. Normally we don't do 4-3 beans. This is also where I put the anhydrous ammonia. 230 pounds of nitrogen under the beans. It's been fed with urea, ammonium sulfate, potash, boron, all dry throughout the season, and it's been fed weekly. We planted at a higher population to try to keep the, like you can see where the nitrogen ends. You can see this color difference. Correct, and a lot of people say it's a waste of time and money on beans. It can't be done. All it does is add growth, not yield. With like backspin, we're able to keep holding these beans back. PGR with Insight, we're able to keep the nodes stacked in tight. And when we just did a count yesterday, we were at 63 nodes per plant, 65 nodes per plant. It's a lot. It's really good. And they're not lodging. They've got about 3 to 4 branches on them.
Yeah.
Nothing like the 14 that we carried last year in the double diamond beans. So, so we upped the population on them. That way they won't branch out so much. 44 acres in total, but the plot's in the middle of it. So there's probably about 30 some acres of beans here. Well, I would say for 80 to 100 bushel beans, lower population normally works best. And what I mean by lower would be that 80 to 115. But trying to get over that 130 bushel hump, you know, we're just overloading those beans until we can learn how to hold them all. We got to think outside the box. And, you know, I talked about this last year when we was doing the lives on Facebook. If anybody's watching that, you know, I think the trick might be coming back up some on the population and walking that fine line where you still get branching, but you still get height, but you don't stretch out the nodes. So we're really walking a fine line doing what we're doing, but I've been very pleased with what we've done so far this year. Very pleased. You got to understand the genetics that you're using.
You know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. No, I'd say the main thing is, you know, have a good relationship with your seed salesman. You know, make sure he's not just a seed salesman. Make sure he's hooking you up with the information that you need to be able to make these decisions. That way you know the ins and outs of the hybrid that you're planting, what population you need to plant it at, what's your yield goal. Will that hybrid even respond in that environment? Can your soil handle it? There's so many questions that you need to be asking your salesman, just not what's the cheapest bean or cheapest corn that I can plant, or what's the highest yield. And ask more questions. Know what it's going to do. Is it going to branch? Is it going to get tall on you? There's so many different things. Leaf size, and once you figure that out, you can really start honing in on how to manage that hybrid and that variety. Every variety is going to act different. You can make one look better than what it is, and you can make a real good one look really, really bad. And everybody's always wants to point the finger everywhere else, but it normally starts with you. Put some truth on it. I don't necessarily say it's all about asking the right questions. I would say it's just asking a question. When I was young, I was scared to death to ask a dumb question, because you're in a room full of really smart farmers, and you're kind of timid to raise your hand and ask, because that everybody in the room but you might know that answer, and so you feel like a real dumbass for even raising your hand and asking. And then one day I was like, what, screw this, I'm not going to learn if I don't ask questions. So I just started asking questions and just picking smart people's heads, and I wanted to learn. I was finally to the point where I was tired of constantly being told by the same people, do this, do that, this will work. Because the results were showing that it wasn't working. What my goals were not what their goals were. And it's easy to get complacent and happy, but I'm always striving to be better. And I wanted to surround myself with people that would. So I just started asking questions, and that's how I learned. And you'd be surprised how many people out there actually want to teach you. And if you're willing to open up and learn and ask the dumb questions, there's a lot of people that's going to give you really smart answers. Asking a good question, will get a good answer, and that will help you with wisdom down the road. But you don't have to sit here and think, man, that question I'm about to ask is going to be dumb, because you never know the different things that different people are struggling with trying to figure out in this yield game. So your question might spark a conversation that might lead to somewhere else. And that's what's so awesome about these shows, is just being able to call Temple or Matt or Perry or Dan and just be able to bounce different ideas off of them. And the things that we come up with just over a 30-minute conversation is just tremendous. I mean, we're all in this together. Yeah, we want to beat each other, but we're all trying to help each other's operations. So if we can think of a different practice, a different idea, a different chemical, we're all in. And you really got to put pride to the side when it comes to that, because I don't care if Matt's idea is 10 times better than mine, or Temple's or Perry's. You try it, you go with it, and you want it to succeed, because success is good for the operation. And my whole end game with this is to leave this farm in a better place, where if my son wants an opportunity, he can take the reins and take off. That's my end game. So what can I do now to start building this for the future? So, and I want to be able to surround myself with really smart people that can help him and help me do this. We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease, just because we got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
We are here at Chestnut Vale, which is Temple Road's father's home farm. We've become very good friends. Getting ready to fill up the planter, start planting soybeans. He's got a trailer full of bean products and starter fertilizer to apply for the upcoming season. We run Radiate in furrow. We're running Quick Ultra Awaken in furrow. Gets the plant up fast, helps with root development. We've been running dry fertilizer today, a nitrogen phosphorus in a 2x2 as well, not only on corn but also on beans.
So these are some beans planted 20th of April. We've got a dry window in there and planted a few of these beans. These are 4.7 indeterminate extend flex by Hefty, so it's gonna be a 47 FX2. New beam for them, really excited about it. And I am excited about it. I'm all shook up in honor of Elvis. Look right here, I love this. So the beam, because of daylight, has physiologically cut out. It's done, it's not growing any taller, any bushier, it's finished. But it's got all its energy. It feels so good. We put all the right stuff to it, from poultry litter to fertility or PGR we put on it along the way. It's really done quite well. I mean, look at this pod set. I mean, I don't know if you can, I mean, there's just pods everywhere, but that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you this right here. The plant is finished. It's not going to put on any more nodes, but what it is going to do is fill out this last node, which has 13 pods at this time. I mean, that's huge. That's about 13 bushels right there in that top node. Every one of them's like that. This one's a little further along. I don't know, it may not have 13, but it's got 10. And then if you look at the leaf, see the little white spots? Little white spots on there? That's actually the fungicide that we put out yesterday. So we'll get a little rain, a little dew, it'll take it in, protect the plant, curing disease that's out there. This is clean. I mean, look, there's no, we talked about target spot earlier. There's no disease in here. Good, clean, down in the canopy. So this had Revitec on it 5 weeks ago, and now here we're a month later at R5, or something that feels like R5, our second shot on a few select fields. This is one of the select fields. Has a lot of potential. We got plant timely. Everything's worked out. We can irrigate it. It's a small field. It's easy to irrigate. So, it's just sandy loam. It's just some cotton soils in between the rivers. So, yeah, it does well with whatever you put out here. But again, this has me all shook up. Blooms, fruit positions, and it will hold those. You know, we've had so many times these high yielding fields that they're chin high, and you can't tell it till you get out there, or a wind comes through, or get some kind of sheet rain and knocks it all flat. And I have a few of those fields this year, but I think I'm going to like this variety. They're shorter. We do our best to go from medium plant height, because if it's a tall plant, now in some cases we need some tall plants. If we're non-irrigated or some really tough ground, we might need some height, so we'll try to plant around that. But on this good soil that we can irrigate, you don't want to plant a tall variety, because one rain, a little heat, that thing will get 6 feet tall and fall down. I've seen it happen. Something that really grows aggressively. But no, this is pretty nice. All these pods at the top. Oops. Now this might be a little sudden death syndrome. But if it is, it's very light. There's a worm. Well, some would refer to it as a fuzzy worm, but it's actually a salt marsh caterpillar. Yeah, they just eat leaves. I don't know, they've had kind of a tough life. But they were planted flat, so they just stood in water for a long time. And I debated on replanting them, but I'm glad I didn't. I mean, they're gonna make 60 bushel or so, 70 bushel. So they'll kind of hold their own. It took them a while to get going. But they pulled through it. That's what's going on there. And you can see where the insects have been feeding on it. Like I said, they'll make it.
We are here at Chestnut Vale, which is Temple Road's father's home farm. We've become very good friends. Getting ready to fill up the planter, start planting soybeans. He's got a trailer full of bean products and starter fertilizer to apply for the upcoming season. We run Radiate in furrow. We're running Quick Ultra Awaken in furrow. Gets the plant up fast, helps with root development. We've been running dry fertilizer today, nitrogen phosphorus in a 2x2 as well, not only on corn but also on beans.
want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we've got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
I mean, I almost feel guilty spraying this again. I'm just not used to this. You know, I pride myself on being able to pick any acre and go, but you know what? I don't like losing. I'm competitive. So this year I said, screw it. We're going for it. This is it. My goal is to have 120 plus bushel beans, but do it across, you know, thousands of acres to where we're not making extra passes all the time to do that. This year, you know, I switched it up a little bit. You know, I'm very competitive. I don't like losing. So I went after this year. I think we're on pass number 6 or 7 right now. So we're throwing the book at this field, and we're going to see what we can do. It's been corn after corn for about 4 years. This is also the field where we have 230 pounds of anhydrous ammonia underneath the beans. It's had the whole book thrown to it. Different timing, different products, different rates. So it's going to be fun to see what we can do. Right now, she's definitely looking the part. Hopefully Mother Nature can help us finish this out. But, you know, the reason why I have a problem with it is because you don't learn anything from throwing the kitchen sink in something. So this year we was blessed to have about a whole nother 500 acres of the same bean, same variety, in big chunks. So every time I spray this field, I carry enough to at least make a 240-foot wide swath of every pass I've made here against our checks. So we can break this apart. So we're going to break apart the kitchen sink to find out which pass paid, which one didn't, which one really had the biggest gain. And then maybe we do need to add an extra pass to our entire system. So that's what we're doing here. So once we do the kitchen sink effect, now we're going across 3 different maturity ranges, but they're all in the same blocks of fields. At least the smallest field here is 100 acres. So that way we can figure out which pass actually paid and which one made big difference. We're loaded with force. Look at them all still coming. Pick a road and just walk in one real quick. Just look down the road. I've had good beans before. These are special. I mean, you don't think they're this tall. So we've been using a lot of products to try to help them with the strength early. I counted while you guys were with Stephanie. Pass we made this morning. I'm not proud of it, but I got 2 more to go. Peel them back and look at the spacing between the plants. Seth, you asked me that question earlier. Oh, you guys want to see the anhydrous beans now? Going on a trip. There's the one beside it. Don't do anhydrous. It's a waste of money. It won't work.
Look at that stalk.
No nodulation. They won't nodulate. They'll just get tall and won't put beans on. Maybe this is what Temple looks at a daily basis, but like I said, I've had branches like that, you know, where we can get branches. The only thing I can tell you is I think we got something special.